Did you have a time? So, during the introduction, you said little about this film, but you did say that you had nothing written, no screenplay. Walk us through the process of making this film, like on the first day of shoot. What's there?
剛才你啱啱介紹呢個單。
其實我仲記得嘅，雖然好多年前，我記得我開工第一日就係第一場。
Well, I remember, although it was many years ago, that the first day of the shoot was actually the first scene.
嗰時我根本開工嗰陣，自己都唔知自己做乜。
Actually, when I started that shoot, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea.
我記得就係喺嗰個叫咩？張家輝屋企門口，佢哋幾個人啱啱到。
I remember the way is that, the scene was the door of the house that Nick Chung had, and then these various staggered arrivals of these people.
就係咁開始咗個故事。
That's how the story began.
So what happened afterwards? Like the second day you went to work, and how did it develop into a film?
第二日咧？
諗到咩咪拍咩。
Well, whatever I thought of, I shot it.
其實差唔多去到拍咗幾日之後咧，已經唔係我去話個戲點拍，係個戲話俾我聽，我應該點拍。
After a few days of shooting, actually it became very clear it wasn't really my intention or my plan of how to make this film, but the film itself was telling me how to make it.
因為點解拍呢一部電影咧？我要講翻少少故事咧，就係我拍完咗 election 黑社會之後咧，嗰兩部之後咧，其實就好攰，因為要睇好多黑社會嘅歷史啊，又睇翻香港好多嘅嘢啊。咁嗰時就好辛苦咁完成咗黑社會Part 1 Part 2。
Well, actually, there was the film Election 1 and Election 2. Those were actually the two previous films to Exiled. And really, it was a lot of research, a lot of studying, a lot of reading, because election was about triad society. So there was just a lot of historical materials to work with. And I was tired. I can tell you, it was a lot of hard work getting Election 1 and Election 2 prepared and filmed.
所以去到嗰陣，我希望拍一部戲咧係好似放假咁樣。
I wanted to make a film as if it was just like a vacation.
我可以叫部戲叫 holiday 㗎嘛。
But it's not a holiday. I can't really call a film a holiday.
所以我就話俾你聽 ，it's an exile。
So that's why we took the term exile.
所以我唔需要任何負擔，唔需要 prepare。
No baggage, no preparation needed.
所以就變成正話你睇嗰部戲咯。
And that's the film that you just saw.
I guess it's part of the vacation to go to Macau. Macau is really close to Hong Kong, and people go there to gamble, and so I guess that's part of it. I do want to ask you, Macau shares the same Cantonese language, and it has a similar colonial past. It's a lot quieter than Hong Kong. It's not as dense as Hong Kong. But why does it look completely deserted in this film?
因為點解好似拍出嚟嗰時真係一日都冇喎，人影都冇嘅。雖然澳門係比起香港係當然係少咗人啦，但係呢度似乎你真係水靜鵝飛嘅，點樣拍出嚟？
唔係我學咗一個導演講嘅，一個非常偉大嘅導演咧， 係中國導演嚟，叫胡金铨導演，係 King Wu。
I actually learned something from King Hu, very famous Chinese director.
佢嗰時話點解 King Wu 嘅電影咁成日放煙啊？你知放煙係咩？即係佢好多煙霧啊，好多嘢咁樣。咁後來好多電影都學佢咁放煙嘅喎，啲武俠片。
Well, basically, those of you who know King Hu films, there seems to be always smoke and fog happening. Smoke and fog, a lot of that type of effects. And actually that became a signature that many other film directors copied.
Same as me 就係咁啦，就後來咁我覺得係喎。咁佢嘅 answer 話咩咧？中國國畫，中國人嘅畫咧係留白嘅，有好多唔想講嘅嘢咧，佢就好多霧嘅。
Basically, the reason is that when you think of historical Chinese landscape painting, there's what we call Liu which is actually making sure that there's a lot of smoke and fog and mist. And because of that, you actually have lots that blank. And the blank actually allows for imagination.
咁我學啲唔學啲啦，咁最後學咧唔想見嘅嘢就叫走喎。
Okay, so basically I learned something from it, and it's that whatever I don't want to see, let that all disappear. That's why the scenes are so empty.
I want you to tell the audience about this hotel, which you see in several scenes, and it's also in the shootout finale. Tell us about the set.
關於嗰個酒店嘅取景啊。
咁冇錢啊，咁咪去求其是整4埲牆喺我公司嘅天棚嗰度，咪整咗嗰部嘢出嚟咯。咁而家你睇假假地，但係都呃到你哋嘅。
Actually, we didn't have much money, so you know that we basically set up the entire set actually above the building of my office
in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong, and I just hope that it might be a little bit fake, but it passed.
Exiled was released in 2006, but you set it in the former Portuguese colony Macau on the eve of its handover to China in 1999, which was 2 years after Hong Kong was handed over to China. When you made this film, you had a few years to think about the two handovers, the two experiences. Can you share your reflections while you were making this film?
好鬼 sensitive 喎。
Very sensitive.
大家都識笑啲就明㗎啦。
If you all laugh at this, you therefore understood.
It's called Exiled.
The film is called Exiled.
I don't know 喺呢度有幾多個小粉紅喺度。
I will not translate. I will translate. I want to know how many of you might actually be reporting me later.
即係好鬼勇敢啊！我自己。
I am not a brave man.
其實問題問得好好嘅。
It's a great question.
不過我要好小心答。
I have to be careful.
如果唔係，我翻唔到香港。
If not, I might have trouble returning to Hong Kong.
Exile.
我覺得有關係喺嗰個時間嘅轉折裏邊，時代嘅轉折，大氣候嘅出現係猶豫嘅。
there is a change in time, in era, also in what we call the sort of larger landscape of everything. And clearly, there is something that we are all a little bit hesitant.
其實好似好繁華，好似好開心，但係實質上當時嘅我嘅 feeling 咧係睇唔到前邊。
And the thing is, you could see as if everything was still going very well, prosperous, people were happy, but my feeling at that moment was that I really couldn't see what was ahead. 2006-2007年拍呢部戲嘅時候，我個擔心係出現咗。In 2006, 2007, making of this film, I felt that my worries, they had already appeared.
小心啲嚇
Be careful.
，remind 我自己咋，
I'm reminding myself,
唔係你哋。
not you.
差唔多。
I will talk about something you are happy to talk about. It is always tremendously exciting to see how you compose your shots, especially when dealing with an ensemble cast. Can we bring up a slide, please? Some images. These images are not very good as screen grabs, and with the stage light, you don't see it very well, but yeah. But it's fine for illustration. As you can see, you fully utilize the widescreen as a canvas to place the characters in geometric form, each appearing at a different depth across the frame. Tell us how you compose a shot and stage your characters.
Maybe I can say 可以咁講嘅，可以咁講咧就係好多謝黑澤明導演。
I have to thank actually director Kurosawa.
我係睇佢好多電影之後學翻嚟。
I learned from a lot of his films that I've watched lots and lots of his films.
其實有一個簡單啲嘅感覺咧，其實電影最重要對我嚟講係最重要係 picture and sound。
For me, film, the most important elements, picture and sound.
咁點解電影會變成係佢英文係叫 motion picture？
One film as in motion picture, moving.
係嗰個 picture 會喐咁解㗎嘛？
As in pictures that move.
其實唔喐都係 picture 嚟。
But the thing is, even if it doesn't move, it's still a picture.
picture 係個 message。
And the picture is the message. So, yeah.
導演係我諗有啲學過電影亦都明白，導演係一個故事 teller 嚟嘅。
A director is a storyteller. Those of you who studied film will know.
咁最重要就係話咧，而家我反而會見得少。以前嘅大導演咧，大部分嘅大導演咧，佢每個 shot 都係一個 picture。
Actually, maybe now it's less seen, but actually, if you think of earlier eras, those really great directors, every single scene is really a beautiful picture.
咁因為一個 picture 轉到另一個 picture 同另一個 picture 之後，嗰個就係一個故事。
And the story is really the movement of change from one picture to another picture and then to another picture.
亦都係成為我哋電影人最重要嘅叫 film language。
And that, of course, is what is so important for filmmakers, film language.
呢啲咁樣嘅嘢咧，就都要睇佢幾部唔同嘅電影裏邊嘅，就證明我就係我咯。
Well, you see all these images, and really, they are proof that I am who I am.
You talked about motion, and your action scenes are extremely unique. We see action, but there are actually a lot of static moments. Can I have the second slide, please? Okay. So this is from Exiled. There are a lot of frozen and even very quiet moments in scenes of chaos and action. So can you tell us the thinking behind them?
如果即係咁講啦，我細路嘅時候咧，我年輕嘅時候睇電影咧，我根本都唔識人哋講咩，即係嗰啲英文咧，尤其是嚇。
When I was young, I watched films, but actually, as a young kid, I didn't know what they were doing, what they were saying, because they were in English. I didn't understand it.
但係我永遠記得個畫面。
But I always remember the pictures, the scenes.
所以喺個電影裏邊，我成日覺得盡量唔好講嘢。
That's why in my films, I really try to avoid a lot of dialogue.
越少對白越好。
The less dialogue, the better.
咁所以你問我做咩呢啲咁嘅嘢，就唔使講啦，大佬，仲講。
Why do I have all these static shots and also quiet moments? Well, I don't know to say that.
讓嗰啲 character 自己走啊嘛。
Basically, you let the characters to run.
And tell the story to you.
And that's actually what they are telling you by these images.
Okay. Hong Kong cinema has a very rich tradition of action films, like kung fu, wuxia, like mohawk, like urban crime or urban action films. But your kind of action is really different from anyone else's. If you think about like Lau Gala, Jackie Chan, and Sammo Hung, for example, it's so funny. Their action highlights the clarity of body movement. You see like every part of the body and how they move. But your actions are far more abstract. They look more like a symphony of moving parts. I was telling you earlier that the film scholar Stephen Taylor likens your action scenes to Jackson Pollock's paintings, which you saw earlier today. What is so funny? So can you tell us about action, the way you shoot action and convey action in cinema?
One hour?
They will say very anything like
But I'm very tired, jet lag now.
He is not jet lagged. He's been moving around all day long.
Okay. For me, is 對我嚟講 ，action 係咩先
To me, what is action?
？Action is movement.
It has to do with movement.
It's important. 一好重要嗰樣咧，其實係時間
The most important one is time, flow of time,
係速度。
speed.
因為喺正常嘅裏邊咧嘅 action 咧係有一定嘅規律嘅。
Basically, think of normal time and normal action. Clearly, there is a certain rhythm.
係用 film 用電影去講咧係24、25格。
Basically, as you can imagine, with film, basically it's what, 24 or 25 frames, 24 or 25 frames.
但喺電影世界咧，佢會變成10000格、100格。
But in film, you can actually go up to 10,000 frames. You know, so many of them.
即係變成就係話係無限
，limitless，
就唔係一個方法去話俾你聽咩叫速度。
So therefore, it is not one method or one way of defining or telling you about speed.
最重要係你認為要幾快，要幾慢。
But the thing is you get to control, you get to decide how fast or how slow it goes.
好似粒子彈飛到幾快都拍得到㗎。
Basically, a bullet. Can you imagine? However fast the bullet flies, I mean, you actually are able to film it.
但你永遠睇唔到子彈飛出嚟㗎喎。如果用我哋正常嘅。
But the thing is, you know that for normal people, for normal time, when we actually look at in the real world, we cannot see a flying bullet.
電影有個 magic，個 magic 就會 become an art。
Film is magic, magic is art.
點解電影係 art？
Why is film art?
佢就係一個無限嘅世界。
Because it's a limitless world.
李小龍所講嘅一模一樣 ，be water。
It's just like Bruce Lee, be water.
我係 love Bruce Lee。
I love Bruce Lee
速度
about speed.
How did you think about throwing that can of Red Bull?
咁啊，佢哋最後嗰個喺酒店嗰度咧，你佢掟嗰罐啊 Red Bull 嗰罐飲品。
係一個好簡單故事。
Very simple story.
佢哋 Red Bull 係做 promotion 嘅。呢個係最重要嘅地方。
But that's not the most important part.
而係我哋喺度拍外景嘅時候，有個女小朋友啦，一個女子就俾咗啲叫 promotion 嗰啲 drink 俾大家，咁就攞出嚟睇下咩嘅。呢個人哇，個女仔真係好辛苦，熱到飛起咩嗰啲就試下咁樣。我唔係 respect 個 Red Bull， 我 respect 個女仔。
Basically, when we were shooting, and especially there was once when we were actually shooting outside, it was very, very hot, and there was a young lady who was actually carrying all these drinks, and she was doing promotion. And so she kept on trying to push all these drinks at us and all that. We looked at it, and I really have to say, I use this Red Bull not because of Red Bull the brand, because of my respect for this young lady.
所以嗰個老細應該要好多謝呢位女子個辛苦，因為呢個問題唔係佢問我，喺全球至少問過10次。
Yeah, people ask me about Red Bull. Really, the owner, the boss, the manufacturer of Red Bull should thank that young lady. And this question had appeared, many times around the world. People had more than 10 times. People had asked this question about Red Bull.
We talked about motion and we talked about static moments in the action scenes. I am interested in your sense of rhythm and order. Your camera actually moves a lot, and you like the use of music to create a dynamic rhythm. Can you talk about the equilibrium of bringing these elements together?
講唔出嚟喎。
I can't really speak about it.
因為係 feeling 嚟嘅。
Because it's about feeling.
feeling 點講？
How can I express feeling?
唔中意你就唔會擺落去。如果問中意點解中意，你又答唔出。
If you don't like something, you wouldn't put it in the film anyway. But the thing is, when you like something and people ask you about it, you sometimes cannot tell them exactly why you like it.
如果要去解釋咧，就唔係我嘅解釋，等人哋解釋。
If people really want explanation, I will not explain it, have other people explain it.
如果我可以解釋得到嘅，可能已經去到好舊或者好重複嘅時候。
By the time if I actually can provide a verbal explanation of this feeling, then it's already something that's probably quite dated and that's something that I had to repeat all the time. And so it's actually much more out of date.
所以好多作家或者有啲人啦，藉口又好真又好啦，嗰啲藝術家尤其是冇 feeling， 咁啊加唔到劇本又話唔出畫，冇 no feeling 咁啊。
Artists often use the excuse they don't have the feeling, so therefore they could not draw the painting, they could not, end up with a novel or writing or whatever. It has to do with feeling.
你當佢真又好假又好啦，我相信係需要創作人係需要一種解釋唔到嘅嗰種力量。
But I actually really do believe that creative people who are creative, there is a power in them. There's a power that actually cannot explain. Emotive power.
但係可能佢問我唔答到原因，因為我懶啫。
Also, there's another possibility that I couldn't provide an answer simply because I was lazy.
我又唔想去回憶嗰啲事。
But also, there are things that I don't want to sort of look back and revisit.
因為我諗緊聽日以後拍咩戲啫。
Because I'm always looking forward. Tomorrow, what am I going to film? Tomorrow, what am I going to plan?
過去嘅電影我都唔記得㗎啦，其實。
Often, a lot of the early films I don't even remember.
I'm going to open up to the audience for questions, but I do want to ask about more than important to me, and I hope that you can answer. Maybe it's a little bit sensitive. I want to talk about Hong Kong cinema. No longer what it was due to the drastically transformed political and economic landscape. You are the only established Hong Kong film director who is still committed to Hong Kong, committed to the Cantonese language, the streets of Hong Kong, the sights and sounds of Hong Kong. All the other established filmmakers have pretty much migrated north to the mainland Chinese film market. Your loyalty to Hong Kong is really unmatched, similar to the loyalty to friends and colleagues we see in these characters in his films. How difficult is it for you to make films now? And how do you see the presence and the future of Hong Kong cinema?
講真嘅係假嘅先，
真
翻唔到去。
Should I translate? should I tell the truth or should I lie? If I tell the truth, I might not be able to return.
我諗其實好明顯地咧如果有 follow 我嘅電影嗰個速度個攝製嗰個時間咧，我差唔多4到5年冇拍過電影。
For those of you who know the trajectory of my career, you will probably know that regarding the speed, production and all that of these films that I've had in my career, actually the past 4 or 5 years I have not made new films.
答咗你未啊？
I think that is the answer.
I accept.
會覺得就係話我老婆都話你仲唔翻工？我都唔識路翻工喎呢個。
My wife asked me, why don't you go to the office? Why don't you go to work? And I said, well, I don't quite know the path, the way to get there.
因為我覺得即係話係，如果人係冇咗行動嘅自由，好悲慘。如果人冇埋思想嘅自由咧，係更慘。
For people to have the freedom of mobility taken away from them, that's bad. And for people to also lose the freedom of thought, that's even worse.
其實冇人話俾你聽你唔可以嘅。
Nobody's telling you you cannot do it.
你試下挑戰下佢。
You might dare to challenge it.
我而家都希望自己唔好咁諗嘢。
I actually hope that I, get away from this type or this line of thinking.
如果係咁樣，我哋會抹殺咗自己。
In that way, we are basically killing or completely negating our own selves.
我話同啲年輕嘅導演講，你哋要強啲、強壯啲嘅嘢咧，係都係好似一啲嘢冇可能，但變成可能。
I talk to young directors. I want them to be strong and be stronger. And the idea is that to make things impossible possible.
嘅唯一一樣嘢就係你要繼續去爭取。
The only thing is that you have to keep on trying to
同埋
challenge it.
時代喺度轉緊，成個 Asia 成個亞洲已經唔係以前香港嘅電影可以去到成個亞洲好多地方。
Times have changed. Hong Kong films used to be able to actually basically be distributed all over Asia, but now it's not the case.
咁今日喺亞洲嘅進步啊，同埋各個國家都對一啲電影或者電視啊或者 TV series 嗰啲係發展得好快。
And the thing is, think of Asia, each of the countries, and also not just film, but also TV series, the progress have been amazingly fast.
其實唔一定要淨係諗喺香港。
So it's not that one has to confine in thinking only about Hong Kong.
只要有呢個生存嘅空間，就係你表現你自己。
As long as there is room for you to survive, there is a room that you can actually then express yourself.
所以你應該要上大啲。
So one should always think.
去明白多啲唔同嘅文化、唔同嘅地區嘅文化，大家係做一啲唔同嘅亞洲電影，咁會令到亞洲好，令到香港都好。
The other thing is learn about different cultures, experience other cultures, and the thing is, in that way, you will actually create a completely different landscape of Asian film, Asian cinema.
同埋世界都會 become 即係有好多平台係唔係一種人睇你哋嘅作品，係全世界睇嘅。
And the idea is that then the platform also increases in size, and it becomes literally global, that everybody actually has the chance.
咁我哋就會生存到。
That way, we will survive.
Questions from the audience.
Hello， 多謝你好。我講話唔係幾好，但係我太中意你嘅戲，我想試下講。
我聽晒呢啲廣東話，我一定。
多謝。我覺得你嘅電影都有好多即係 eye-candy 黃金。Sorry, do you need to translate?
Yes. say it in English yourself.
Thank you so much. 咁我睇到男人一幫老友40幾歲都係咁吞訂啦，你試之前都要戴翻個黑超扮訂嘅，好鹹濕，好搞笑。你覺得面對宿命嗰種無理感，你覺唔覺得你自己係一個浪漫嘅人？你點樣保持嗰種浪漫嘅男人的浪漫嗰種感覺
Okay, now in English. 我幫你嘅。
哦，可以嗎？
你自己講英文啦。
Hi everyone, my name is Sue. I wanted to ask because Johnny To's movies has a lot of these like brother romance, like being really crazy and like pulling around like age 40. And I was just wondering if Johnny To himself is very romantic, or how do you keep that kind of romanticness in your body? That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. 好多人都話我好多電影裏邊當然有啲係有女人嘅。
There are some films with women too.
但係大部分冇。
But most of them no. Mostly men.
因為一路嚟講我都覺得我唔了解女人。
Actually, all along I felt that I do not understand women.
所以我係寫唔出女人出嚟嘅。
Therefore, very few women characters.
譬如你正啱睇完 Exiled 都係喺個世界個女人就係嗰種，
Look at
佢
Exiled.
喺側邊嘅，佢唔喺中間嘅添。
Look at Exiled, the film that you just saw. I mean, there's one woman, and the thing is, you realize that she's not in the center of it. She's actually on the side, always on the sidelines.
唔係代表我唔 respect 女士啊，係我唔識嘅。
It's not that I don't respect women. It's just that I don't know. I don't understand.
咁唔識就唔會講啦。
Because I don't know, I don't understand. Therefore, I avoid that.
跟住講男人浪漫或者宿命係嘛？我會。
Then we talk about the men romance as well as fate.
其實喺我嘅電影好多時，我自己擺脫唔到自己嗰個信念。
Actually, in all of my films, and many of them, I really could not quite get away from a specific, concept or faith that I have.
係大部分都嚟自係選擇嘅 chance and choice。
So it's about change and choice. Chance, about chance and choice.
即嗰個就係我嘅人生裏邊嗰一個，可能係一個經驗或者一個相信。
It's actually life experience as well as actually what I believe in. It's a belief.
Yeah. 我諗我哋識成到而家嘅你哋喺度都最細個可能20零歲啦，最老多可能70歲啦。我哋經歷咗好多次嘅經遇。
Basically, I see here, maybe we have people who are in the 20s and all the way up to maybe 60s, 70s. You can imagine in life, you've just met with many, many different opportunities, choices.
Yeah. 你有好多次嘅選擇。
And you have to choose
你有
many,
好
many
多次
choices.
嘅改變，有好多嘅選擇，你有好多次嘅選擇，你有好多次嘅改變。
Lots of change, lots of chance, lots of choices along the way.
呢個就係人生，
That's life.
呢個就係故事。
That's the story.
That's all.
That's all.
To look at the credits for a Milky Way production is to see many of the same names over and over again, not just writer Wyckoff 5, but also editor David M. Richardson. If you, Mr. To, could talk about some of the important collaborators you have and how they contribute to the work that you do, and how they make your work so distinctive, but of course all of the work is so much you. What do they bring to make your work you?
And also the actors too.
Yeah. 先講最重要嘅一個人，
very important, most important person.
要講差唔多係1996年之前，我同韋家輝嘅認識。
Actually, I met Wei Ka-fai before 1996.
亦都係因為佢而成立咗銀河影像。
Because of him, we have Milky Way.
我哋好同意一樣嘢就係話，佢哋喺個電影嘅時候都叫初哥啦，叫即係可以做，但係唔算係做到咩嘢。
At that time, we were fairly new, fairly fresh in the scene, in the film scene. We wanted to do things, but there wasn't too much we could do.
嗰時同韋生嘅接觸裏邊一樣嘢就係我哋要繼續發展落去，或者生存落去啦，係最重要一樣嘢。我哋要有原創性。
But the thing is, we wanted to thrive, we wanted to progress, we wanted to develop, and yet we know that in order to survive, we must actually be original with our ideas.
咁我哋嘅原創性會話俾人聽，我哋有自己嘅風格。
The originality is our way of telling people that is our personal style.
咁喺呢個概念上，我係完全去接受同埋去認同同埋去學習。
And this is a concept totally that I agree with, and I continue to learn about that.
當時我哋 produce 好多電影出嚟嘅時候咧，都俾市場鬧我哋唔識拍電影嘅。
A lot of the early films that we did, the market and people said that they really reprimanded us, saying that we didn't know how to make film.
佢哋話你哋嗰啲都唔去到戲院冇人睇，你啲溝 film。
These are cult films. They really don't make any sort of significant box office in cinemas. Nobody watches them.
同埋好多影評都鬧添。
And film critics, they didn't like them.
但5年後佢讚到不得了。
5 years later, they loved them.
就唔好信啲影評人。
So don't trust film critics.
信你自己。
Trust yourself.
你先有條路係做你嘅。
Because that is how you forge your own path that is different from others.
所以我哋中意有一班人，所以咁多年嚟，我哋都有幾個人，包括演員。呢一堆咧就係啲人認為我哋唔識電影嘅人走埋一堆。
And that entire team of us, including the actors and so on, this is the group. We all got together, and people said we didn't know how to make film, didn't know what film was, and we all got together. We teamed up.
但係好快喺96年成立咗銀河影像之後，唔到10年，係所有人都覺得呢個係新嘅時代出現。
Basically, from 1996, the founding of Milky Way, and then a decade later, everybody agreed that we actually forged a new path, we forged a new style.
但係嗰個唔係我贏咗佢哋，而係我覺得我哋真係好中意電影。
It's not that it's not about winning or losing. It's proof that we really love film.
One final question.
早場你好，
你好，
你好。首先真係好感動，今日可以見到你同埋即係欣賞到呢部電影，因為我覺得而家電影確確實實就係少咗嗰種節奏感啊，即係所以好非常之多謝你嚟到呢度。其實你頭先都講到你已經有好多年冇拍電影，我想知道如果你而家係繼續計劃你將來會做導演啦，定係話你而家已經係決定要交俾你嘅銀河影像嘅第二代？如果你有決定做電影嘅話，你想做咩題材電影？
你自己翻譯啊
？I have to give it to you. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, first of all is actually a statement is thank you for this film because really rarely do we now watch films that has such a sense of rhythm. Okay, and then the other one is that as Johnny To had said earlier on, For a number of years now, he has not made any films. So I want to know, a question to you is that, are you thinking of planning new films? And if not, then are you thinking of Milky Way actually sort of passing the baton to the next generation of filmmakers? So what are the plans?
其實我喺幾個月前拍咗2日戲嘅。
Actually, a few months ago, I shot 2 days worth of film.
但係拍完嗰2日之後，我覺得冇 feeling。
After the 2 days of shooting, I felt there just wasn't the feeling for it.
咁到今日又喺度等緊嗰個感覺。
I'm waiting for that feeling to return.
我係識得講又即係做嗰個嘢就係。
At this moment, I think I speak more than I do.
所以點都要做一次。
But I know I'm committed. I do want to make film.
聽日我呢個 trip 翻去之後咧，我就希望我能夠6個月內完成呢套。
After this trip, I returned to Hong Kong, and I'm hoping that within 6 months, I would be done with this new film.
因為我唔可以再俾某啲嘢融化我。
I want to resist anything that actually wants to, let me think, that actually somehow consume me.
正話問嘅問題係銀河影像嘅第2代，我好似喺幾年前已經講咗，我好希望銀河影像嘅第2代係鄭保瑞同埋游乃海。
Yeah, and then we were talking about the second generation of Milky Way, and for me, I'd spoken about it a few years ago already, that for me, the second generation representatives are Soi Chan as well as Yang Ai Hoi, 2 film directors.
佢哋兩個都係新一代，唔係新一代啦，佢哋都50幾歲㗎啦。
Well, they are new generation, but not quite because they are more than 50 now.
但佢哋係時候去帶領香港電影。
It is time for these filmmakers to lead Hong Kong film.
想就係咁想啦。
That's what I want. That's my desire.
世事唔係你想像咁。
But then sometimes the world's affairs are not how you imagine it.
問上帝先緊要。
Have to ask God.